Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB Zack Brown. Big show for you today, recapping all the weekend's action, especially at Knoxville and the Knoxville Nationals, IndyCar, NASCAR doubleheader at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course, and so much more. Let's get into it. Let's kick it off talking about the Knoxville Nationals. What an incredible week. What an incredible event that is. It's just one of the coolest spectacles in motorsports and all of sports, really. If you haven't been able to check it out, go check it out. You can find all sorts of highlights and things on YouTube, the World of Outlaws website. I'm sure people posted their own videos being at Knoxville Nationals. I mean, the Saturday event, just how big it was, how packed that place was. I mean, they had an E main. They went to the D, C, B, and A main. Just so incredible seeing all those people there at the sprint car capital of the world. So, really, what everybody's talking about and who I got on, Kyle Larson picking up the big time Nationals win there. And really, he was one of the favorites all week, and really not a shocker to anybody that he was able to win. The biggest thing was when in his heat, he started 7th, and he hauled ass up and won his heat, and nobody was doing that all night. He and Logan Schuchart were fast in that heat. Really impressive to see. The awesome paint scheme, throwback to Paul Silva's first years with that sprint car. The all-black 57 was really sharp. But the actual Saturday, the A main, this is definition of an ass-kicking as you can get. 50-lap race, and he led all 50 laps. Just insane to think about with all the level of competition that he's going against. It's pretty remarkable that you could lead every single race at the arguably one of the toughest tracks to race at, and it's the biggest race of the year for the sprint car world. Larson was just so smooth. Started off on the bottom, transitioned to the top line, and as smooth as you could really get. And a big takeaway also was David Gravel starting 22nd and just flying through the field. He made it into the top 10. I believe he was into 8th after the break. He made it the whole way to second place to finish that race. And I think it was about another 10 laps. He probably would have passed Larson and got the win in the Nationals, but ran out of time. But what an impressive run that David Gravel had put on. He's still a little bit behind in points, but amazing to see. But Larson getting that win is huge, and then he goes back to Indy the next day. So kind of good transition there, talking about the Indianapolis road course. So the big thing that was revealed around noon at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway was Kyle Larson's rides for next year. Obviously, he's running the doubleheader, the Indianapolis 500 and the Coca-Cola 600, both very sharp paint schemes. The orange and blue, very slick looking. We'll see if that will bring any luck and bring any speed to the tracks he will be racing at. Two completely different races, and how quickly the turnaround is. It'll be definitely cool to see Larson go for the doubleheader and see if he can be the only one that's won both of them in the same day. That is, if there's anybody that could do it, it's Larson. He's in his prime. We'll talk about that as it gets closer next year, but really exciting to see that. The McLaren 17 car and the, of course, Hendrick number 5 car for next year. This was another dominating race that happened. Michael McDowell, and I don't think anybody expected Michael McDowell to come out and just dominate. He was thought about to win. He's a very good road course racer, and that team's had an incredible season so far this year. But to just whip everybody's ass at the Indy road course with that team, that was impressive. Of course, Chase Elliott makes a run late in the race, but McDowell was mistake-free at the end and cruised to the finish and to get the win. Locked in the playoffs. So, only a couple spots left. There's 2 races left. Right now, Harvick and Keselowski and Bubba are leading the points right now, or in position. Before moving on, let me talk to you about my friends over at W Energy. This stuff right here that I'm blocking, oh, I am terrible at this. Jitterless Energy. This one is the Big Energy Tiers. Kind of like a blue raspberry flavor. It's pretty good stuff. What can I say? Go to w.gg, use promo code ZBHP, get 10% off any order you get. They got a bunch of good stuff. They got this blue raspberry one right here. They got peaches and cream. They got orange cream. Great stuff. And they also got stuff that's not energy. So go check them out. w.gg, use my promo code ZBHP. You get 10% off your order. All right, let's get back into it. Now the Xfinity race, kind of interesting race. Got to get a little bit of strategy, but Ty Gibbs is really fastest all day, and Ty Gibbs, he gets the win. And really seeing some of the Cup guys come to the Xfinity races kind of makes it stink up the field a little bit, and they just have the advantage. They're just better than those guys right now. But heading into the couple races left, Xfinity really it's going to come down to Sheldon Creed or Parker Kligerman trying to get in on points. But if somebody on the outside gets a win, you got Watkins Glen, but then you got Daytona. Anybody can win at Daytona. You got Brandon Jones on the outside looking in. Junior Motorsports is really fast on those traditional plate tracks, now just pack racing tracks. So he could definitely get in. Anything like that could happen. So it'll be very interesting to see what shakes up here in the next couple weeks. But Ty Gibbs getting that win. And then you move over to the Truck Series. First race in the playoffs. Ty Majeski was fastest car all day. Well, fastest truck all day. And he gets the big time win at IRP. IRP is such a fun track, and it goes by really fast too. So really cool to see that. All right, let's talk a little bit about some IndyCar racing. The Indy Grand Prix at Indy, the IndyCar Grand Prix at Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. It's way better than NASCAR in my opinion. These cars are just made for that. NASCAR does way too many road courses. Cars really aren't designed, these heavy cars really aren't designed to go on these road courses like that. These Indy cars, they put on great shows, and it showed in this last race. Scott Dixon was able to hold off Graham Rahal, get a big time win, and stay in the championship battle in the IndyCar series. And there's 3 races left. There's one more oval, and that's at Gateway. And that's coming up here in 2 weeks. We got to look at Joseph Newgarden when they had really bad luck. Alex Palou had a solid finish, extending his lead. Scott Dixon's bringing himself back into the championship race. So IndyCar shaking out to be a really good finish. Move over, talk about the NHRA. And Justin Ashley gets the win in the Top Fuel. Bob Tasca gets the win in Funny Car, and then the Pro Stock was Erica Enders. So Erica's kind of peaking at the right time. Bob Tasca kind of came out of nowhere getting that Funny Car win. Very interesting to see. And Justin Ashley's been dominating Top Fuel all year. Clear championship favorite there. Couple more weeks and I guess 2 more, events, and then it'll be into the countdown. So it is shaking up in all of motorsports, getting into the playoffs. The SRX series at Eldora. Well, the boss man himself said, "Let me show you guys how it's done," and just fucking domination. Wasn't even close. The one takeaway I had from that was Haley Deegan having a great run. Got involved in a crash in Heat 1, which basically who didn't? Comes back and gets a second place finish in the main event. So she didn't have anything for smoke, but it showed that she's a good racer, especially a good dirt racer. Hopefully they can keep her in that series, and hopefully she can find better rides in NASCAR and keep improving on her skills. She's the most popular driver in the Truck Series 2 years in a row. It's probably because she's a hot girl that's racing. That's just how it is. And in motorsports, you get a female driver that's half attractive, you're going to get voted the favorite. Well, we'll see what kind of ride she can get. If she's able to even get into the Xfinity Series, she seemed to do better on her couple races that she's had there than she does in the Truck Series. A lot of bad luck in the Truck Series, and just hasn't had solid finishes. We'll see how that happens. But I think basically all Ryan Newman has to do is start the next race, and he wins the championship. So good on Ryan Newman being the championship forerunner here after that scary crash a couple years ago in Daytona. Coming back and possibly winning a championship and a motorsport series. So that's really good. And I believe that's all we touched on because the Knoxville Nationals was the highlight of the week. Again, if you haven't seen that, go check it out. I think it's time to get into the power rankings for the World of Outlaws and then into NASCAR. So the World of Outlaws power rankings. Here is last week, and here is this week. At number 5. He dropped out of the power rankings last week, but after amazing run, podium finish in the Knoxville Nationals, and probably one of the best Knoxville racers of all time, if not the best Knoxville racer of all time, Donnie Scott's back into my top 5 at number 5. And at number 4, we're going to keep him at the same spot as we have been. Solid finishes, staying consistent throughout the entire year. Logan Schuchart at number 4. Moving up at number 3, we're going with Carson Macedo. He was shaking it up to have a really solid finish and a possible run to get the win at the Nationals. Not enough at the end. Carson Macedo at number 3. And going back to the top, how we're going to change it up once again. The Big Cat's going to drop down to number 2. Still has the points lead after Knoxville. But because the number 1 guy showing up right here, David Gravel. I mean, what's to say? Going 22nd to 2nd? Yeah, you earned your top spot again in the power rankings, David. And we'll see how they shake things up in 3 events this week in Minnesota. All right, moving into the NASCAR power rankings. Going to shake things up a little bit. So, whatever you think, drop down below. You can see what I had last week. Going to have a little bit of a shake up going in to this week. And let me know what you think. We're getting close to the playoff time, so this doesn't mean that these are the favorites to be the championship favorite by any means, but this is kind of a fluid list. It changes as the results are shown for themselves. So, all right, number 5, a guy that's had 2 solid finishes now in a row. Getting back on track, very solid racing at Indianapolis Road Course. Had some issues, overdriving corner, flat spotting a tire, but I got Kyle Larson at number 5. At number 4, he's not going anywhere. Another solid finish, just outside the top 10. Just keep continuing to build momentum, getting those 2 wins in a row. Coming at now, Chris Buescher at number 4. Going up to number 3, we're going to keep going. Just a couple bad finishes, not really going to make a difference for these drivers. I still got Kevin Harvick at number 3. Not a great finish at Indy, but not enough to fall out of my rankings, especially going into these tracks that he's really, really solid at. He comes out of nowhere at. So Kevin Harvick, number 3. Number 2, still got to go with Denny Hamlin. Again, not a great finish at Indy, but when you had all those consistent races in a row, not enough to really move him out of any position by any means. So Denny Hamlin, number 2. And surprise, once again, Martin Truex Jr. takes the top spot. He had another top 10 finish, and he wasn't even talked about in the race, and just another top 10, just casually getting that. And he's about to win the regular season championship, get those 15 playoff points. Yeah, Truex is coming on strong. All right, I think that about does it with the recap and everything. So before we welcome my dad back in for Crew Chief Corner, remember, Crew Chief Corner is brought to you by Lickety Lou's All-Purpose Booyah Sauce. Spicy, yellow, original, 3 great flavors. LicketyLoos.com. Go check them out. You won't regret it. All right, let's dial them up. Welcome back, Jeff Brown, to Crew Chief Corner. Dad back at it for another week. Awesome racing at Knoxville, and a lot of good racing everywhere else last week. Knoxville was a lot of fun to see. In case nobody saw it, go check out the highlights. It was an ass kicking, and I said it earlier, but it was really cool, just the whole spectacle of the thing, and it was just something else. I mean, you were right. You called it a big spectacle.
I wish they would show a little more like behind the scenes, like you see, they have a parade. They do all kinds of stuff that you don't see that's not exactly part of the racing. But, congratulations to Larson. We both got our Larson gear on. But David Gravel was the show, coming from 22nd to second.
That was a 60-lap
people online are pissing and moaning that he hit the cone. Apparently several people hit the cone. They didn't do nothing. So at least if they're going to be consistent each way.
You're racing for the biggest race in dirt racing. And if it wasn't something egregious, they're going to let it go.
Yeah.
If they're about 10 more laps, David Gravel probably would have won.
The only thing I don't like about Knoxville is, it's 50 laps, but basically it's 2 25-lap features.
Yeah.
I'd rather see 40 where you're not allowed to change tires and things like that. So it's, run one whole race on one set of tires like a normal sprint car race, I think would be a little better show.
So Tuscarora does that. You can only add fuel.
Right. You have to run the same tires.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely would be interesting because there were a lot of cars that had worn out tires and they just changed them and they were good to go.
Yeah, because they said about Gravels after the first 25 was bald, which, you're starting in the back, put a soft tire on, see if you can work your way up through there, which he did.
Yeah, and then they go ahead and put a harder tire on and we're good. Actually, they probably kept the same tire setup.
Yeah, probably same tire twice. Well, maybe a little harder because it definitely started putting a little bit of rubber down towards the end of that.
Well, not much time off for Larson after he just finished Indy as well the next day, and big unveiling with the IndyCar and everything he's going to race next year. Talked about that earlier, but they're going into high limit tomorrow, Tuesday night, and they're heading to Houston. And people don't know, last time the big time sprint cars were racing on Houston, what a race!
Yeah, it was. Let me find my notes here. Yeah, Houston is a fast 3/8 mile, lots of passing, slide jobs. Up inside groove, outside groove. It's a great track for sprint cars. I think you're going to see another fun balls to the wall show.
I wonder if they'll allow any outlaws to run it, such as David Gravel. That is his sponsor, after all.
Well, it's not high limit not allowing them. It's I think the outlaws are allowed to run like 4 races. I know most of them ran the first high limit show, and then I think Hyde & Shield ran the one where he was kind of promoting at in Ohio. So I think there's a good chance you're going to see gravel with this one.
I would imagine.
Where are they? See, where are the All Stars at? How far away are they from?
They're
in Minnesota from South Dakota. I don't know how big of a trek that is, but it's probably doable.
No. All Stars are out in New York.
Yeah, I meant for gravel to run with the Outlaws.
Oh yeah.
So he'd have to go from South Dakota to do Jackson, Minnesota. So
yeah.
I didn't even think about that being it's his sponsor. I'd say it's a good shot he runs there. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, as good as any.
I have to change up my pick.
I didn't see the entry list, so I mean, I'm still not gonna go against my pick that I got. But yeah, for sure, it's going to be another big time exciting night for the High Limit Series. We picked about, I think, a total of maybe 3 drivers in the entire High Limits season to win. I'm not straying too far off of that, but who you got for Houston Speedway?
This guy was fast at Knoxville, had some issues in the feature, but going to bounce back. I'm going to go with Rico Abreu.
Yeah, that was your pick last time as
well
as Kyle Larson's thing. And Justin Peck, shockingly, came out of nowhere and upset the field last time High Limit was out. I'm going with Boss Man. Solid. Just coming off that momentum at Knoxville, going with Kyle Larson at High Limit.
Taking the low-hanging fruit on that one.
Yeah, a couple interesting picks coming up, but not that one. He's got a little too much momentum for me to go against him right now. Dirt racing is a theme this week, and moving on, we're kind of going chronologically-ish because the Outlaws are racing Thursday through Saturday, and All Stars are Friday through Sunday, but we're going to go into SRX series at Lucas Oil Speedway.
Yeah, it's in Wheatland, Missouri. I was trying to find some information like on track size and this and that. They have nothing on their website about like what size track it is. It's supposedly just from pictures. I mean, it's a gorgeous speedway. It's got press boxes and super nice stuff and everything there. They call it like diamond of the tracks or whatever. But so I think I'm guessing it's somewhere between a 3/8 and a half mile dirt oval. Yeah.
So, in case anybody hears it, I've got a toddler in the background. The biggest thing is the SRX finale, and already come up. This is the 6th race, and I think basically if Ryan Newman starts, he wins the championship. He's got such a significant lead over everybody, just being as consistent as he has been. I don't think anybody, unless he finishes dead last, and I don't even know who's in second place right now, but I don't really think there's a way to beat him.
This probably not.
But it'll be interesting. The big guy coming into this race, making his SRX debut, is Jonathan Davenport.
Yeah, I think he's going to do just fine in that race. I think they're going to race way closer to what he's used to driving.
Yeah.
I don't know how much setup I don't think they really changed much of setup. I think it was whatever it is, you get in, you learn how to run it, and that's. If he has a feel he likes, look out. Yeah, sure.
Well, and Ron Capps was doing really well. He got caught up in. I think everybody got caught up in a wreck. Gosh, everybody got caught up in a wreck at the last race at Eldora. It seemed, except Tony, who had like an 18-second lead.
Yeah.
But again, Capps was able to come in. Doesn't race dirt really ever, and hasn't done it since 2007 or something. He said, and Davenport races dirt all the time, so. That could be one to really spoil it for a lot of people.
Yeah, spoiler alert, that's my pick.
Okay, well, I was about to ask what your pick. So you're going with John?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Davenport on that one. I guess he's really the only one that's kind of a local racer that's coming in this year, which I wish they need to get back to that a little more. It makes it kind of interesting. Well, so I think I don't know how much they run at that track. He might have a lot of laps there. He might not have any. I really don't know, but I think it's good chance.
I think regardless, everybody's at least going to be on the even playing field, and I think it'll be fine. I could have gone with Tony as the pick. He's only lost once ever on dirt in the SRX.
Yeah.
I was actually torn between two people. Haley Deegan, who had an amazing run at Eldora. She was able to come from the back, go to the front. She's a really good dirt racer. But I'm going with the championship leader, and he's going to end up being the champion inevitably. I'm going with Ryan Newman.
Yeah, Ryan's an old dirt track racer. He knows how to get around these things.
He was racing Tony pretty hard. They were doing a bunch of slide jobs, crossovers on each other at Eldora, and Tony was pretty fired up about that. So that was definitely cool.
Sad to say, I with that coming on at 9:00 on a Thursday night,
I didn't see.
I have not watched any of it.
Don't worry. The cool thing is somehow on YouTube I'm able to find not even just highlights, the entire full race. And good thing is when you're feeding a baby in the middle of the night, I need something to do while she's eating, so I'll watch the race. Simple enough. Moving on, we're going to go into let's talk about the Outlaws, and then we'll talk about All-Stars. Both have 3 races this week. The Outlaws are at the Jackson Motorplex. You said this was in Minnesota?
Yeah, Jackson, Minnesota. This looks like Knoxville 2.0. It's super nice facility. It's got the black dirt, the wide racing surface. You got a bottom, a top. It's real wide. It's a little smaller in Knoxville. They call it a 0.4 of a mile, but it looks like it's going to race very similar to Knoxville. So I think the guys that have been fast last week are probably going to still be right at the top again this week.
And it ends up being the same guys in the Outlaws anyways. Really, the cream rises to the top. Is it that Midwest clay that we've been seeing, the darker clay?
Well, it's the black clay. Looks like Knoxville. Yeah. So that's whatever that is. It looks like if it's prepared right, it's a great racing surface.
Yeah, I don't think it gets too terribly dusty either. And
it doesn't look like it. Just from watching video from the last couple of years on that, you don't see dust lines. It's not like Ohio dirt, that's for sure.
Well, I know one thing, it's not going to have as much of a crowd as Knoxville. That was amazing. See how packed that was. 25,000, at least in the stands. Who knows how much that stand.
Yeah, they said the pit area was sold out.
Yeah, so that was cool. Not surprising at all. But all right, night 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and give me all 3 picks that you got, and I'll give you mine.
All right, Thursday night. This guy's been fast, getting faster all the time. I think we'll see him come up. I think he's got 1 win this year with the Outlaws. James McFadden in the Toyota. Friday pick. This guy's just, he's one of the top 3 all year. It's hard to go against him at any time. You could almost switch any of these picks and probably be pretty decent. But I got Carson Macedo for Friday. And Saturday, the show in Knoxville, I think he finally gets the big money from Saturday night's race. David Gravel.
We have 1 pick that's the same. My first night, I'm going with the $1 million man himself, Logan Schuchart. Amazing run at these last few races all week in Knoxville. He definitely had a shot. Friday night, I'm going with the big cat, and I have to check the point standings. He might not be the points leader anymore, but he's either first or second right now. Brad Sweet for Friday night, and Saturday's the same pick we got. Obviously for the biggest night and the biggest purse in Minnesota at the Minnesota track. Go with David Gravel. Actually, I'm going to look up the standings while I'm right here. Then I'll know for sure.
Yeah, those two been having a heck of a battle back.
It's been insane, and I don't know why it won't let me pull it up. It's got to be here somewhere, right? There we go. Driver's points for the Okay, apparently you can't look it up without clicking on ads. Okay.
Brad Sweet is 14 ahead of Gravel.
14. Okay, so it was a 17
60 ahead of Carson Macedo.
It was a 17-point lead going into Knoxville, and now it's a 14-point lead. So they're extending their lead on Carson Macedo.
Yeah, 4th place is Logan Schuchart. He's 248 behind. So
I think that's going to be too far. I don't see. I think it comes down to 3 people. You're not going to make up 248 points unless the top 3, those 3 guys just have catastrophic races this next couple of weeks. But no, I think that's just going to be too far behind. As good as they are, you won't see that. So that'll be cool. Going into Charlotte, I'd love to see a 3-car battle to win it going into the World Finals. That'd be probably one of the best racing weeks you would see.
Yeah, I'd like to see Macedo tighten that up a little bit, and
Yeah, he lost a little bit of ground.
If you get 3 cars within 20, 30 points and get into that final thing, because I think it's like double points or whatever.
Yeah, and it's 3 nights down there, over there, not too far from me. So yeah, that'll be cool. Moving on to the All Stars, they've got three races at 3 different tracks this week. So sprint car drivers are busy these last couple weeks.
That's for sure.
All the focus went into the Knoxville Nationals, but everybody's got to shift that and go back to their normal schedule. Going to Outlaw, the last time the All Stars were Outlaw, Zeb Wise got the pass on Tim Schaefer on another one of those exciting races. So just brief us again about Outlaw Speedway, and we'll go into our picks.
The 2 tracks, Friday and Saturday night in New York, they're modified tracks, so they're generally a really wide racing surface for the bigger cars. They get pretty slick, but I don't mind slick tracks. It usually makes good racing. Like the last time, Zeb Wise, got the pass right there at the end. So I think you're going to see probably pretty good racing on. It's a 4/10 mile oval. It's actually All Stars got the biggest tracks of the week, looks like. So Friday for the Outlaw Speedway, Dundee, New York, 4/10 mile dirt oval. My pick, he won earlier, Zeb Wise.
And I'm wondering, New York is where they are racing in NASCAR. I wonder if Larson will make the trip over to these tracks.
I don't know.
Sprint car. I guess it's kind of up to Paul Silva what he wants to do, but I mean, it's kind of convenient.
That would be, but that's Silva's based out in the West Coast, and he's coming into South Dakota. Is he going to tow the whole way into New York? I'd be surprised, but heck, you never know.
So how about this? Hey, Kyle, you want to give us a little bit more of this, and we'll come? It's up to that. I'm going with the guy that Zeb Wise passed earlier. He's bound to get a win here coming up. Tim Schaefer, the Steel City Outlaw. Utica is either Utica or Utica Rome. I like to say Utica. It sounds cooler. So talk about that one.
Yeah, that one, I don't know really anything about that track. I've never been there. It's in Vernon, New York. It's a half-mile dirt oval, and from what I looked, just watching the video, you better put it on the top and keep it there. So, it's a big track. Lap cars may not be as quite of an issue, but if you got a lap car run the top in front of you, you could have a hard time getting by them without. You're probably going to be putting sliders on the lap cars. So it just seems like the top is the way to go on that track.
All right. Well, that being said, who you got?
Well, and this is one I'm hoping he's running. I don't really know the entry schedule, but I got Brent Marks for Saturday night.
That's bold. If he's not running, pick an all-star. I know that was bold, but just in case, because you never know, he might not be running.
Who's running the '83 Junior? Buddy Kofoid?
Yeah, but I don't. He's kind of like.
I don't know if he's running there or not.
He's kind of like Brent. He goes in and out on the races too. I looked at Buddy as well, but I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know if Hunter Schoenberg's going to be running or if he's going to be at Port Royal running the Zemco car because he was hired.
Since he just signed that, and this week's I think it's Port's. No, maybe next week it's Port's.
Well, maybe I'll put Chris Windham as my backup.
Okay, all right. Brent Marks or Chris Windham sounds good. The championship points leader, big surprise. I'm going with Zeb Wise. Selinsgrove, they're making their trip to Pennsylvania. Did not know they were heading there this year, especially this weekend. So you know a lot about Selinsgrove. I don't think we've touched on Selinsgrove this year.
I think it's the first the traveling series. I like Selinsgrove.
Yeah, you've had a lot of success there, especially with Eschenauer and everybody there. So yeah, talk about that.
Selinsgrove's it's a big half mile oval. It probably is close to 5/8 of a mile, what they call some of the 5/8 tracks. It's big. When the track's right, it's very fast. Usually the top is the way to go around there. You get that thing wound up around the top, and you just keep your foot in it the whole way around, and just balls it that way. It can get fast on the bottom. That top can get so far out that it's just too far around. But usually it gets a nice little cushion through the corners, and you can time trialing right, starting up front is going to be huge for that race.
All right. Who's your sales growth pick on Sunday night? Oh, what?
I lost my notes. I'm good. Yep, I got. I know he's won there earlier this year in his own equipment, so I think we're going to go with Anthony Macri in the 7BC.
No, I think this would be one that Brent Marks would run, though. I'm not picking him, but I wouldn't surprise me if he's running that one.
Yeah, I would figure he's probably going to be there for that one for sure.
Yeah. I'm going with your backup pick from the last race. I'm going Chris Windham. He's third in points. Needs some good solid finishes. Got a good shot as anybody. Like you said, got to start up front and get a good qualifying run. So that does it for. I think it does it for dirt. I don't think we have anything left for dirt racing.
Nope, I believe that's it.
And we only have 2 types of asphalt racing this week. We don't have IndyCar. Drag racing's back at it again, which is crazy for them. Usually they take a week off. So they are in Minnesota.
Yeah, Brainerd, Minnesota. According to the website, it's the fastest ever run by in Top Fuel at 337.58 mile an hour by Tony Schumacher in 2005.
I don't think
you'll see it ever been broken. I do not know, but so it's definitely a fast track. It's a beautiful facility out there. They're going to draw a big crowd. It's one of the top tracks left on the circuit. We got a bunch of them that are not going to be around anymore. Like just last week at Topeka, that was the last race for them.
And that's surprising. Topeka is a pretty historic track and everything.
Yeah, I guess just the value of the land is just so astronomical. It's just hard to keep up with it.
He's just breaking crap over here. I'll get it. You just breaking my stuff. I'll fix it. Just leave it there. You gotta come over here and have me get my pick here in a minute. Yeah. So the drag racing they're closing in onto the I don't know what they call is it playoffs or whatever it is.
Countdown.
Yeah, is that Charlotte the first race? I was gonna look at it.
It could very well be.
For some reason it just kind of sticks in my head that Charlotte is the let's look NHR. Not like we don't have Google. Countdown. The only thing about drag racing, it's not the easiest to find any of
no, it's
the racing. It's kind of like how Indy
likes to make their even like NASCAR's website is one of the dumbest going on. It's hard to find results for anything. Just the Outlaws and All Stars website, you put it in there and it says.
That's why I follow like 30 different groups on NASCAR things because usually one of them is better than the official site. Well, they announced it. That doesn't help me. They are starting. Why can't I read it? Maple Grove. So right the week before Charlotte.
Oh, okay. So is Indy the last?
It is worldwide race.
It was Indy's Labor Day weekend, the U.S.
Yeah.
Nationals.
Oh no, finals are at Pomona. No, that's the normal Pomona where they.
No, I meant I was wondering if is Indy the last regular season?
Oh, yeah, I believe so.
Because I believe that's one of them where they do 1.5 points or double points for each round, so that can really shake up the whole. You can actually gain or lose a lot of points real quick.
Yeah, that'll be interesting for sure. Well, going into it, you were right about quite a lot of 2 out of 3 picks last week, but they're racing all 4 series this week, and we don't even need to talk about the motorcycle pick, do we?
It's going to be Gage Herrera.
Okay, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, we can just kind of skip that. It's kind of just.
I mean, if he
know.
doesn't red light or have a mechanical failure, he's probably not going to be beat.
Yeah. All right, let's move into the pro stocks then.
So he was running good last week. He's bound to win one of these things sooner or later. He's I don't know whether he's 6-time champion or whatever he is. Greg Anderson.
Well, I'm thinking this driver goes back to back. I'm going Erica Enders for pro stock.
Yeah, she's definitely been running good. I'm just trying to shake it up and try to pick somebody else.
I don't think I picked Erica this year, and I mean she's peaking at the right time of the year. Funny car. Who are you going with?
I got Ron Capps for this one.
All right.
Funny car's tough. There's Tasca's been running good. Capps, Hagen, Forces cars. There's a handful to pick from on that one. It's just who can happen to get down the track at any given day.
Yeah, I'm going with Robert Height, my funny car pick, and the Top Fuel pick.
Well, I didn't have this as my original pick when I said it. When I found out it was supposed to be the fastest run ever at 3:37.58. I think it's going to be broken if we get some cool weather out there. It's Minnesota, so it could be cool. And nobody makes power like Brittany Force. So she was runner-up last week. I think she finally gets it done this week.
I think last time you picked Brittany, I picked this driver, and he hasn't had luck for you, but I'm 1-for-1 with him. I'm going with Steve Torrance.
Okay.
Moving on to the last couple races this weekend on well, not chronologically, I guess, but the big races that everybody's talking about getting ready for the playoffs. Xfinity and Cup racing. They are at Watkins Glen. This is one of the actual true road courses that NASCAR is sticking to. I've enjoyed this track. I like when they only had 2 a year, Sonoma and Watkins Glen. I think having 437 of them is a little ridiculous during a season.
Yeah, it was nice because between Sonoma and Watkins Glen, Sonoma races like a short track. Watkins Glen races like a super speedway. Watkins Glen's real fast. Got fast turns and the whole thing. It was a nice contrast between the two. Now you can just. And even when they threw in the Roval, I was okay with that. I was like, that's kind of cool. That's different. They could go back to those three, and I'd be just fine with that. I don't think there's too many other ones, but I like Watkins Glen. It's it's pretty up there in New York. It's a nice regular road course. It suits the Cup cars very well because of the speed. It's sort of like built to handle the bigger, heavier cars.
Well, the question is, can they finally get a decent race at a road course this year? They've all just been snooze fests.
Yeah.
And they thought that the not stopping for the stages would fix it and make it better. It made it worse. Yeah. Because the restarts were always the most exciting thing. But Watkins Glen's got the potential that if you don't have the cautions, it still ends up being a really good race the way it is format, the way it's shaped, the entire distance of it. Very well could be a very good race.
It's big enough that if your car's right, you could probably actually run somebody down just because of the higher speeds.
You want to help me pick the drivers to win? Who do you think's going to win? Who's going
to win, Chandler?
Tell everybody who's going to win.
Is it going to be Larson?
You think Larson's going to win? Okay. All right. Each one with Larson. All right. You can go downstairs. All right. So for Xfinity, for Xfinity, I think Larson actually is racing the Xfinity race.
Oh, is he? That's right. He is.
I believe so. Is he race? I can't remember if he's racing the 17 or
17.
He's racing. Okay, I know. And I thought he had another race for Junior this year. But maybe I was wrong. I don't know. I'm not picking him. I probably should have.
I'm changing mine now to him. I think I'm gonna go with Larson. I had Cole Custer. I think I'm gonna go with Larson on this one.
Yeah, he's if he ran the Xfinity Series for the championship, he'd win by like 1,000,000 points. That car's just way better than everybody's, and he's just a better driver by far. going with a preview. I think he won a road course this year. One of the championship favorites for Xfinity. Got a couple wins altogether. I'm going with Austin Hill.
Yeah, he's a good road course racer.
And now this next one is where I shake everything up. Again, the Cup cars are where the big question is if they can race on a road course, carrying the fast speeds that Watkins Glen has. I think it'll be a better race than Sonoma, and it's I think it'll be better in Indy as well because Indy was not good either. But McDowell winning's kind of cool, just seeing the smaller team win. But
yeah, good for him.
We have 2 races left, and I've talked about it. These are must wins for 5 drivers really in the contention of getting it. And then Daytona, nobody knows who could win. You don't know. You could, but there's Daytona. There's more of a strategy and stuff that goes into Watkins Glen, but Daytona, you just have to kind of get lucky. Cup Series, who are you going with?
Well, I had him last week. He's in a must win to get in. I'd like to think he's the best road course racer, but shoot, anymore, it don't seem like he's been doing a lot well. He did get second last week. He was just a hair off, and I think he has to get it done this week. I don't think he can go to Daytona relying on that one. So I got Chase Elliott. Mom has picked Chase Elliott as well.
Well, that's deja vu from last week.
Yeah.
I was originally going to have Michael McDowell this week. My plan was have Daniel Suarez last week and Michael McDowell this week. I was pretty damn close. But I'm not going with Michael McDowell. I don't think he's going to get a back-to-back. This is a must-win driver. I'm going with a Hendrick car, not the one everybody thinks that I would go with. I'm going with Alex Bowman.
He had a good run at Indy. He's been getting better at the road courses for sure. And that's definitely a must-win.
I'm just a kind of a wild guess there, but he's got a good shot as any, and I think they're going to throw some strategy calls, and they're going to do everything they can to win. Because you come down to Daytona and thinking you can win, you're probably going to crash.
Yeah.
So it's just you don't know. Freaking Harrison Burton can win Daytona. Nobody knows. It's that crazy. So I think that does it for this week, Dad, on this segment. Yeah, we're getting down to the wire now, and Daytona week is next week. So I will be excited for next week. Finally, we'll get back to a big traditional track, and Daytona's it owes me a good race. It can kiss my ass from last year for raining on me and not allowing me
coming down again this year, Zach?
Nope, because it'll rain. If I don't come, it's gonna be beautiful. So
yeah.
If anybody goes to the Daytona race this year, let you know it is hot as hell in August. So just prepare yourself, and it'll probably rain at some point. If I'm there,
it was only 97 today.
Yeah, the heat index.
The heat index of 113.
Yeah. All right. Well, till next week, Dad. We'll get to kick it off with Daytona week. We'll see you then.
All righty. Bye.